Dude, seriously, you probably have way too much crap on your AR-15. Or at least one of your ARs. Too much stuff. Stuff you don't need. Stuff you'll never use. Stuff that really doesn't fit into any realistic philosophy of use. That's what this video is about. I came up with the idea this week after seeing a bunch more pictures of ARs that were just laughable. All kinds of crap hanging off on them. And I just shake my head at these guns and I go, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, to carry this gun in a realistic POU, no. So I'm here to help. Another weapons philosophy video from TMP, free of charge. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. If you're an AR guy, you'll like it. I will focus on the AR-15 platform. Not the AK, the AR. Laser beam focus. And this represents where I am now. Subject to change. Just my opinion. For what it's worth, probably not much. But I am here to help. To give you perhaps some focus on some issues to really pare things down. What's important on an AR? What do I really need? What should I really spend my money on? And what other things should I completely ignore and blow off? Ground rules. First up, I really don't know what video imagery I'll roll in. Probably just us shooting our ARs mostly. Maybe a photo here and there. All the AR-15s and TMP are squared away for their philosophies of use. I can guarantee you that. I'll show you a wide variety, but those are not really examples, in my opinion, of guns that are too heavy, too gaudy, too much crap hanging off them. They're not, but it's imagery to look at other than, I don't know, the table or my hands. So you'll see that as we go. And like I said, things are always evolving, always changing. So, you know, next week I could feel differently. I probably won't. I've felt this way for a long, long time. Also, this is not going to be an AR-15 accessories review. I'm not going to go point by point and mention all these different brands and recommendations. The video will go too long. There's way too many brands. The market is completely flooded with them. You'll have to figure that out. Here and there I will. You know, I'll roll in this or that to make a point to that effect. Why do people hang so much stuff on their ARs? Well, I've come up with 5 reasons. And when I mention these, they're probably going to ring a bell and you're going to go, yep. Either that's why I've done it. And I've traveled that road before. You know, in the 80s, I hung too much crap off my guns. I was learning. You know, I've traveled the pathway myself. I was like, hey, I need this capability. I'm going to integrate it all into one gun. It's going to be a one size fits all gun. I don't do that anymore. I've learned, I've progressed. I've done a lot of hiking and carrying a lot of gear. That really helped me. Here's the first reason I think guys overdo it on equipping the ARs. Number one, they're just ignorant. They don't know any better. They're new. They're learning. They listen to their friends. They think this is the way it's supposed to go. And so they accessorize it according to what their level of understanding is. And it's completely innocent. No one's fault. Like I said, back in the 80s, I did it. We're all learning. We're all progressing. But, maybe watch a video like this. It'll accelerate your learning curve. And it'll make sense, perhaps, what we're talking about. And it's not just me. There's I think a lot of voices in the firearms community that will say the same thing. Especially guys that teach tactical schools. They'll hit hard. It's like, you don't need that. You don't need that. You'll need this. You'll need this. You'll need that. I agree with those voices as well. We're probably saying the same thing. But ignorance is the first reason. Number two, message boards, forums. Maybe they go in there and they start reading, and there's a ton of disinformation everywhere on the internet. Not just the message boards, but there's a lot in the message boards. And there's a lot of posturing. Guys want to seem cool. They want to be accepted. They want to fit into a certain and current groupthink. Therefore, they'll outfit a gun. They'll slap a picture of it in the message board. And guys are like, yeah, that's cool. I want my gun to look the same way. Doesn't really apply to real life, in my opinion. It applies to that message board. To be accepted and, thought of highly. we all do things to be accepted by our peers, right? So maybe that's one reason. So there's a culture they're trying to adapt to on the message board. They're trying to be cool. They're trying to get cool points. That's one reason. 3, the industry tells you should hang a lot of crap off your AR-15. That is a huge reason. Remember, this is an industry. Companies make money. They want to make more money off of you. If they convince you that you need a light with an integrated grip on it, with an integrated bipod, with an integrated laser, stuff will all hit as we go along, with this or that, a 12-ounce sling, a lot of guys buy into that. And they continue to buy into it. Why? Because they're inundated in their media choices with these messages from the industry. You need this. And what does the industry do? They will show pictures of operators. Okay, guys in multicam, soldiers, supposedly special operations team members, LE, and they'll say, hey, if you want to be like this guy, you'll buy our product. If you want to be cool, you better use this butt stock. And thus begins the pathway to completely ignoring philosophy of use. It's not tied to any realistic philosophy. It's tied to purchasing and doing exactly what the manufacturers tell you you should do, and that is buy more stuff. They make money off you. They want to make more money, so they're going to constantly invent new things for your AR-15. You, as a sharp consumer, should go, this is BS. I watched that video from Nutn, don't hang too much crap off your AR, and yeah, that's one of those things he talked about. That's up to you. Be smart when you shop. Don't waste your money. Don't carry unnecessary weight. Number 4. 4th reason guys hang too much crap off their AR. Video games. There's some video games that are super cool. I mean, the list goes on and on. They are an alternate reality. I've talked about that in unrelated philosophy videos. We won't talk about that here. In those video games, they show weaponry use. A lot of AR variants, for that matter, AK, all sorts of tactical carbines, both real and fantasy type. A lot of times they're hanging a lot of crap off those guns. And so the young generation, and heck, the millennials grow up watching this, go, I need a laser, I need a bipod, I need this, I need a 100-round drum. And they're kind of brainwashed with the video game. And you can't really blame video games that much because people have been doing this with movies too. Long before vid games came out, movies were thought of the same way. So if a popular movie came out, everyone would go out and run out and buy that gun. Dirty Harry was a good example. 44 mag. Everyone had to have a 44 mag after Dirty Harry. So we could say both movies and video games, to be fair. But people are modeling what they see on their screens, not really connected to reality at all. At all. 5th reason. They're compensating. No, not in the way you're thinking. Although that is funny. I like how you're thinking humorously. They're compensating for lack of marksmanship ability, and they think by putting the latest and greatest device in their gun, on top of their gun, out in front of their gun, they're going to be a better shooter. That is a huge reason a lot of guys are constantly changing their AR-15s, upgrading them, hanging too much crap off of them. Huge reason. So those 5 reasons there kind of cover it. Now, if we ground this conversation, I'm going to go back to that term, which I always love. A lot of my audience loves it. It's philosophy of use. We have to come back to that term because it will drive to exactly what will make your gun work better in a very distinct philosophy of use. Sounds common sense, right? It's like, dude, yeah, that makes total sense. Everyone knows that. Well, no, they don't. Not everyone knows that, and not everyone applies that. A lot of people get lost. I mean, if we go back to, well, I'm going to buy what the industry tells me. Let's say a guy, he has a POU of a CQB AR. I want this gun to go from 0 to 200 meters. Let's say even closer, 0 to 100. But then he sees this flashy bipod. It's an integrated VG, has a bipod on it too. He really likes the look of it. Second kind of cool kind of comes into play. He buys it, slaps it on a CQB carbine. Great choice? No. You just dicked up what was a good philosophy of use. The AR-15 is such a great platform. It is so versatile. You can configure it any way you want, and that's what we're going to pretty much spend most of our time talking about. How do you configure it? What is the best approach for this accessory, that part of the gun, this optic, etc.? But before you go down that pathway, please define your POU for the gun. Because I'll outfit a CQB AR differently than I will an SPR. What you're looking at on the table is an outstanding Smith & Wesson M&P 15. Once upon a time, it was the Magpul edition. I've made a few changes according to my own philosophy of use. Now, and this always happens. Anytime I start talking about accessories, guys in the comments will go, well, have you looked at this accessory? You looked at that accessories. No, not really. I don't constantly click around looking at AR accessories because, like I said, the market is flooded. There's too much. The market is actually collapsing upon itself because the purchasing power of all the consumers cannot support the many brands that are out there. So you're going to have some brands fail. You're going to have some companies fail. They overexpanded foolishly, if you ask me, and they can't sustain. Me, I find something that is cost effective, that works. Just because something newer comes out doesn't mean I'm going to abandon that for something newer. You know, I'm not trying to impress anyone on the forum, get the latest, VG, latest foregrip. I don't care. I don't care. If it works for me and I like it, it stays on the gun. On the table is that Smith & Wesson. That's a CQB outfitted philosophy of use. That is good to 0 probably to 400 yards. But it's pared down. It's pared down to what I feel are the essentials. And guys will have different approaches. They'll go, well, I need this and I need that. And that's completely appropriate. I got no issues with that at all. But if a guy shows up to shoot with me and he's carrying a lot of stuff, I'll make fun of him. We're gonna have some fun. It's fun, and because by doing that, it's fun and entertaining. I like that portion, but it's also tying into previous philosophy of TMP. We talk about POU. We have to talk about weight. What have I always harped on ever since I started the project? Right, weight. Weight is critical. Finally, the industry has responded. And I wouldn't say finally, but probably within the last 2 years, I've been seeing some really excellent strides through multiple manufacturers to shave down the weight of all the accessories we're going to talk about, of the guns themselves, the lower receiver, the upper receiver, the barrels. There's some really lightweight options out there. If I can get a naked gun before I do anything to it and it is 7 pounds or lighter, I'm okay with that. There's some ARs and AR brands that are much lighter than that now. Carbon fiber types, super skinny barrels, carbon fiber barrels. You're probably going to pay for those. Perhaps the technology of that specific company is not tested. You might be rolling the dice. But if you can start with a naked gun, around 7 pounds, 6.5 pounds, even better, you're in there. So philosophy of use. Another one is, like I said, SPR. I want this AR-15 to range out to 600 yards. I'm going to outfit that gun differently. It will take on some more weight because of what I'm asking the gun to do. And you can use it in a CQB philosophy of use. I'm not saying you can't. The difference is if I go with an SPR, mid-length gas system, 18-inch barrel, outfitted with the rail I want on it, I'll probably be around 8.5 to 9 pounds. Total weight. You've seen how light my SPR builds are. To me, that's really in the ballpark. And that's a gun that can still go out to 600 yards. To me, that's the best of all worlds. If you're going to have just one AR-15, either buy an 18-inch mid-length gas system AR or build it yourself. That can be a one gun for most things. How about, and this is another philosophy of use before we get going on the accessories, because I will reference it as we go towards the muzzle end. Competition. A lot of guys get this confused. A competition AR is not a defensive carbine. It can be, and this is just my opinion on knowing what I know now. It can be, it's outfitted, it looks very tactical, but it doesn't have to be super light. I mean, just ask JP, and the ARs he builds. Those are not super light. They're super stable, they're super smooth, they're super accurate. Competition AR-15. You follow? Is weight my most critical attribute when I'm running 30 feet to a stage? Then I run another 30 feet to the stage. Then I run 100 feet to the stage. I would say no, it's not. I'm just running a short distance. I don't have a backpack on. I have either tactical running shoes, tennis shoes, a golf shirt. Who cares if I'm running a 10-pound AR? It's just stage to stage. And then when I get to that stage, the gun's going to settle down quicker, and it's going to be stable for that 600-yard shot. Competition gun. So that philosophy of use is pretty much its own duck. When we're talking about, dude, you're hanging too much crap off your AR. Because it makes sense for that philosophy of use. Those are the three big ones. I mean, we're talking about using the gun, not collecting, not gift, but using the gun. So let's jump into it. Right here. Back of the gun is where we're going to start. We're going to start here, go towards the muzzle. Too much crap on your AR. A lot of times the problem, I want to take this mag out. This has been checked already. I'll double check it, safety on. A lot of the problems start right here with the selection of the butt stock. There's so many butt stocks out there. Again, this is where I'm saying I'm not going to go down all the brands. This is one of my favorite ones, has been for years. Magpul MOE. It's lightweight, it works. It's not ultimately secure. I mean, listen, there's some rattle in there, but in my experience, it's not so distracting that I can't make a good shot with it. But it's simple. I think it's cost effective. It comes in some great colors. Durable. It's a proven system. A lot of guys will put on something a lot heavier to include a lot of Magpul butt stocks. They may say, well, I'm building a CQB rifle, but I'm going to put on a PRS. Says me. That doesn't make sense to me. Why would you put on a precision rifle stock when you don't need it? It's extra weight. You want this to be as light as possible. This is light as possible. This is light as possible. That's the weight thing. You remember I was telling you that a lot of manufacturers are getting it? Here's one. We just bought this. And this, dudes, is a company that gets it. It's new to me. Mission First Tactical. This is their Battle Link series of stocks. Magpul, look out. That's all I'm going to say. Because this is lighter than that by a couple ounces. Has a cool 550 paracord connection right there. And by the way, this will be my tabletop review on this MFT stock. It has a nice rollover cheek piece. It's simple. Comes with a polymer butt pad. Mil-spec commercial tube sizes. Dude, this is what I'm talking about. This is a company that goes, hey, there is a need to make all of this even lighter. And it's not just MFT. There's probably a ton more out there that I'm forgetting or don't even know about. But that, to me, adds something to the market because it gives the same functionality as an MOE or any other lightweight, very capable stock to include, a standard M4 collapsible. But now I've lightened it up 2 ounces. Remember what I say in my reviews. If guys laugh about the ounces, they'll be crying about the pounds. Because guys who don't keep track of ounces will have guns that weigh 10.5 pounds, 11 pounds. I'm talking a CQB rifle. I've seen it multiple times. You probably have too. Watch the ounces so you don't cry about the pounds. So 2 ounces here, awesome. I'm stoked. Maybe that's worth the money. Remember I said, well, I'm not just going to upgrade to look cool. I'm not just going to upgrade because, this is awesome. Some guys will. I don't. I've got other things that I have to spend my money on. But if I'm going with ultralight, super fast, easy to carry, always with me, CQB AR-15, maybe I'll go with an MFT. Lighten it up 2 ounces. Maybe. You have to decide. I'm still really honestly thinking about it because I love this one so much. You know, I have, and later on, well, heck, yeah, should I show you this to you now? No, I'll show it to you at the end. I have a list and all the weights over the years as I've kept them on all types of weapon accessories. I've printed a couple pages out. We'll see that again. One of them was an LMT SOP mod stock. Way too heavy. It was, and I still think I have one on a DPMS LR308. But that gun's a DPMS. It's a 308. It's kind of, you know, the firepower side of the equation. And for that particular rifle, so far I've accepted the weight. But run that on AR, go as light as you can. Generally. You're going competition, maybe a SPR, which is a long-range AR-15 build, you might be able to take more weight. How about grips? I think the grip market has a lot less to do with weight problems than anything else, because most of the grips are lightweight. This is an MOE on here again. There's so many great grips. Ergo, Magpul makes those. The list goes on and on. Troy makes some good ones. But I would weigh each one. And you may see on my printout that I do weigh each one. How much does it weigh? Can I lighten it up? Most are good though. I don't think a lot of problems with hanging too much crap come from the grip. There are some. I mean, there's those PSG style of grips. They have the really big thumb shelf on them. I don't see those very often, but once upon a time in the 90s, they were prevalent. They were out there. Wouldn't do it. Hanging too much crap on your AR. That'll take us to, I would say, charging handle. That's not going to add anything unless you go with just an outlandishly large charging handle. That's adding weight. That's the big thing. Well, it has a big charging handle. Okay, how much weight does it add? And it's funny because guys go, well, you need an enlarged charging handle. I would not totally disagree with that. There are some, and this is just my opinion, I don't think you need it at all. The M4, M16 charging handle, as it comes from a military spec, is fine. You have a scope in a way that's different. You're doing competition drills, you know, it gives you an advantage. And perhaps some of the stuff we're going to talk about is that advantage, the competitive advantage that it gives you in competition. Generally, that's not going to be an issue, though. And I was going to talk about the sights. They have gotten a lot better on ARs. These are M-Bus. They're polymers. Polymer sights. I love them. There's other brands that have copied Magpuls. I mean, when someone comes out with something successful, all the clones come out. Know how that is? M-Bus is a good example. You know, it's a great sight. It's super lightweight. It's cost effective. It's not the lowest mounting sight out there, but as you can see, this Weaver, I think this is 800364. I'm getting ready to review this gun, by the way. It sits fine under there. There are some bad sight choices. Anyone's made of steel, in my opinion, would be a bad sight choice.